Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's take a moment to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where your spine, the back of your neck can sit nice and tall and long, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, letting your breathing come a little bit easier. And of course, opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your shoulders. Soften your eyes. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is. Soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you can find a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat today and perhaps carry with you throughout your day. For this morning's intention, I'd like to continue our exploration of the 8 limbs of yoga. The first 4, the yamas and the niyamas, the asanas, and the pranayamas, focus our awareness on our external world. The last 3, which is dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, focus our awareness on our internal world. The 5th limb, Pratyahara, is the bridge between the worlds, the external world and the internal world. It helps us move from one world to the other. Pratyahara is often translated as withdrawal from the senses. It is about withdrawing from or controlling sensory impressions to free the mind so it can move within. Pratyahara guides us to a place within ourselves that exists beyond our senses, a place of concentration, then meditation, then to our authentic self. How do we practice Pratyahara? We can start by directing our mind to one sense only, such as hearing. So listen to the sound of your breath during your asana practice. That is the focus. We say that all the time, especially with the Ujjayi breath. That helps us to really focus on our breath, hearing that sound. So when you hear the sound of your breath, that becomes the focus. The cues for the poses are the background sounds. It doesn't mean that other senses aren't present. They just fade into the background as well. We are consciously withdrawing the energy of our other senses influence over us so we can move our awareness within. So for this morning's pranayama breathing technique, there's one called hummingbee breath. It's Bhramari, and it kind of takes that idea of Pratyahara and illustrates it nicely. So the Bhramari hummingbee breath is making a sound and just being self-contained. Basically, when you're doing this breath, you can't focus on any other sense but the breath. So to do that, the mouth and eyes are closed. We're gonna, and I'll just walk through the steps without doing it quite yet. The other thing we're gonna do is press our ear flaps, which is the tragus, in. We're gonna have the sound emanating from our throat, not our nose. And when we breathe in, inhaling, that's neutral. We don't do anything there. But when we exhale, we hum, like So let's do that. We'll close our eyes and our mouth, press our ear flaps in, and then on the inhale, we'll be neutral, and then on the exhale, we'll hum, and do that 5 times. So. And then there's a mudra we can add to it. The mudra is called Shanmukhi, and it means closing the gates of perception. So to do adding on top of the Bhramari breathing technique, we take our index fingers and close our eyes. We take our thumbs and put them on those flaps, the tragus flaps, and our ears. We're going to take our middle fingers and just put it right below our nose, our nostrils. Let's see, middle, sides of our nose, sorry. And the ring finger is under our nose, and the pinkies are right below our mouth. So we're kind of shutting down all our senses at that time. So let's take 5 breaths with this mudra, the Shanmukhi. And there we have it. So it's that bridge between all this external awareness, and we're starting to move within, because yoga truly is actually about meditation. That's the destination that we want to go to. The meditation actually is one step below the enlightenment, and that's the true destination. So that's the 8th limb. So we're now on our journey toward enlightenment, toward our authentic self. So I will meet you on the mat, and we'll get started with our asana practice. You can stay in your nice, comfortable seated position. Maybe lowering your knees so that they are within the crease lines of your hips here. And we're going to start with a few head twists, nods, turns, circles. So we'll synchronize those with our breath as well. So we're going to exhale, taking our gaze, sending it down to the mat. Then inhale, sending our gaze up about 45 degrees to the top of the trees, not straight up to the sky. Then exhale, bringing it back down toward the mat. Sitting straight and tall. Inhale, lifting your eyes and your head up to the tops of trees. Exhale, lowering your gaze down, bringing your head down toward the mat. And then inhale, come back to a neutral spot. Again, sitting nice and tall and relaxed. We're going to inhale, turning our head to the left. And then exhale, coming back to center. Inhale, turning our head to the right. And exhale, coming back to center. Inhale to the left. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the right. And come back to center. Now we're going to draw some circles with our nose. Just make nice gentle circles. You can go clockwise to start with, inhaling when you're drawing up and then exhaling when you're drawing down. And then counterclockwise. And bring your head back to a neutral position. We'll do a few sun breaths. So bring your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, lifting your arms up overhead. Big deep breath. Exhale, lowering your hands down. Big inhale up. And big exhale down. You can continue at your own pace for whatever you feel is a nice deep inhale and a nice deep exhale, really listening to your breath. One last time, we'll bring our fingertips down to the mat. And we'll do a few seated side stretches. So we're going to lift our left arm up alongside our ear. And then with our right fingertips on the mat, we're going to bend our right elbow down toward the mat, tilting our torso over to the right side. Nice stretch. And listening to our breath. Inhale, come back up. And switch sides. Right arm goes up. Left fingertips on the mat. Left elbow bends and goes toward the mat. Arching our body over to the left. Inhale, come back up. We'll do that one more time on each side. Just listen to your body, your breath as you do that. And then come back to a neutral seated position. Put our right foot in front of our left leg so that they're side by side, not crossing over. We're going to walk our hands out. And again, listen to your breath. We're looking for that sweet spot between effort and relaxation. So if your breath starts to become a little shallow, you may want to back up so you can find that sweet spot. Just keep walking all the way out till you find that spot. And then we'll grab our hands over to the right side. We'll just walk them over to the point where our torso is just about over our right thigh. And listen to your breath. And then walk your hands back toward your right knee. And then lift your right knee up to the sky. Wrap your left arm around your right knee. Bring your right fingertips to the back of your hips, twisting your torso over to the right. Take a few deep breaths here. And then twist back to the front. We'll extend your right leg out to the side. Just have it straight out, your toes flexed up to the sky. Your left foot is resting against your inner right thigh. And we'll do a few revolving head to knee. So bring your back of your right hand against your inside of your right knee. We're going to lift our left arm up against our ear. And then we're going to slide our right hand down toward our foot till we get to that sweet spot. Listening to our breath all along. And inhale, come back up. And we're going to switch legs. So bring both legs side by side. This time the left foot is in front of the right leg. And we're going to walk our hands out again. This side always feels quite different to me than the right side. So I'm going to walk our hands out till we reach that spot where your breath is still flowing nice and evenly and strong. And then sidewalk your hands over to the left to the point where your torso is almost over your left thigh. And then walk your hands back toward your left knee. And then bring your left knee up toward the sky, wrapping your right arm around your left knee, sending your left fingertips behind your hips, twisting your torso over to the left side. And take a few deep breaths here. And then bring your torso back to center. We'll extend our left leg out at an angle. Toes are flexed to the sky. The right foot is leaning against the left thigh. I'm going to take the back of our left hand and have it against our left inner knee. And bring our right arm up overhead, and we'll slide our left hand down toward our left foot. And again, just follow your breath. And inhale, come back up. Now we're going to come up onto our hands and knees to tabletop. So when we're in tabletop, our wrists are right below our shoulders. Fingers are splayed out, index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Knees are right below our hips. Navel's tucked to the spine. Gently pushing down into our hands so we create space between our shoulders. And with that pressure, we're going to check to make sure that that pressure is evenly distributed between both hands. So we will start a few cat cows. Again, this is something that I'd like you to synchronize to your breath. So we're exhaling, rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone down. Inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and tailbone down for cat. Inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. And continue on at your own pace. Really listening to your breath, synchronizing the inhales and the exhales to your movement. In some of these poses, you can close your eyes, take out another one of those sensory impressions. And then come back to a neutral back. And bring our knees together. Check our hands to feel that the weight of our upper body is evenly distributed. And then lift our right leg rather, up to hip height. Make sure it's just lifted straight up and that you're not torquing your body to the right. And then we're going to lift our left arm up. For bird dogs, our toe is pointed for inhale, and then we're going to flex the foot for exhale. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Continue on at your own pace. And bring both hand and knee back down. We'll do that on the other side. Obviously, my goal is today is for you to listen more to your breath and to my cues. So that's why I'm trying to be more quiet today. So again, feel in your hands that you're evenly distributed weight-wise, and then lift your left leg up to hip height. Bringing that hip bone down parallel to the mat. Lifting your fingertips up to the sky, straight ahead. And then point your toe on the inhale, flex your foot on the exhale. Point, inhale, flex, exhale. Point, inhale, flex, exhale. And continue on. And maybe you can feel your breath get a little shallow and say, okay, that's enough. Let me out of this pose. So listen for that. Listen for your breath and your intuition to guide you. Now we bring both knees out to the edges of the mat. Bring our big toes together. Lower our hips toward our ankles for wide-legged child's pose. Extending our hands out front. Forehead comes down to the mat. And then come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, walking our hands back. We're going to come up onto the balls of our toes, our feet, and then push down and come up to mountain pose. With mountain pose, the essentials of good posture, we have our big toe pointing to the straight edge of the mat. We're going to lift both sets of toes up and spread them as wide apart as you can, and then bringing them back down to the mat, gripping down into the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat, and then bringing the heels back down to get really grounded into your mat, into your day. Legs are nice and straight and strong, always keeping a little bit of a soft bend in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine, elongating your back of your neck and your spine. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked ever so slightly toward your neck, toward your chest. And the crown of your head reaches up to the sky. Take a deep inhale, lifting our arms up overhead. And then forward fold. We're going to bend our knees, bringing our hands down to the mat. And then just check in. Notice any tension that may be present today. Send some nourishing breaths to that tension. See if it can ease it up a little bit. And then bring our hands up to our shins, straightening out our back, sending our gaze down for half forward fold. And then hands down to the mat, crown of the head reaches down toward the mat, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up and overhead, and then coming up onto our tippy toes. We'll do palm tree here, and you can sway or move back and forth. I was trying that the other day. That's a little trickier because I'm so used to swaying and try to shake it up a little bit. Have the wind coming from a different area. There you go. And then bring our heels back down, bringing our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees to support our lower back. Inhale, bring your hands up to the shins, flattening out our back, nice long spine, back of the neck. And then sending our head, crown of our head down toward the mat. Big exhale. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Do some side stretches and bring your right hand down to your right thigh and slide it down toward your knee. And then inhale, come back up. And send your left hand down to your left thigh, sliding it down toward your left knee. Inhale, come back up. Right hand to right thigh, slide it down toward your right knee. Inhale, back up. Left hand down to left thigh, sliding it down toward your left knee. And then inhale, come back up. We're going to bring our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees, sending our hands down to the mat. And then we're going to do a few squats here. So we're going to come up onto the balls of our toes and into a squat, just as we were before we came into mountain pose. And then bring your heels back down to the mat, extending your legs nice and long to forward fold. And then come back down into the squat, coming on the balls of your feet, lifting your heels up. And then sending your heels back down to the mat, straightening your legs, coming into forward fold. And one last time, coming into the squat. Sending our heels back down, straightening our legs, forward fold, then sweeping both hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center, and then palms come to the back of your hips. Just spread your feet about hip width apart. Fingertips are pointing down, palms are on the back of your hips. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked slightly to your chest, and then we just roll our shoulders back till we find that sweet spot with our breath. Breathing nice, breathe nice and evenly. And then come back up. And on we go. So inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. And exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat. Place them on the mat and send both feet back to downward dog. So with downward dog, our fingers are spread wide apart, kind of gripping the mat. Index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are straight and long. Chest is reaching toward your thighs, which will send your hips up toward the sky. Knees are bent, or you could be pedaling, walking your dog. Just take a nice couple of deep breaths here. And then with our left knee, we're going to bring that to our left elbow, pushing off with our right toe. So inhale, bring that left knee to the left elbow, pushing off. And then bring that back and pedal out in downward dog for a few moments. On the next inhale, bring that left knee back to the left elbow. And then back to downward dog again. Pedal out. And then we're going to bring our left foot between our hands. So on the inhale, lift your left foot, bring it up so that your foot is being framed by your hands. Knees right over your ankle. We're going to place our right hand all the way onto the mat and sweep our left hand up to the sky. You can follow it with your gaze if you'd like. Really feel the energy in your legs. And then bring the left hand back down. You're going to bring the right knee down to the mat, top of your right foot down to the mat. We're going to do some half monkeys, but what we're going to do is walk our hands. We do a lot of walking of our hands today. We walk our hands back as we straighten our leg. And as we straighten our leg, we're going to flex our foot up so the toes are up to the sky. So you really feel that in your hamstrings. And then walk our hands back to frame our foot. When we get to our foot, we're going to send our chest and chin up toward the front of the mat. And then we're going to walk our hands back again, straightening out our left leg. As we do, our toes are going to come up and flex toward the sky. And then walk our hands forward, framing our foot, sending our chest and chin up. And one last time, walking our hands back, straightening out that leg, flexing the foot. And walk our hands back up, extending our chest and chin forward. we'll come back, tuck our toe under, back toe under, coming back into runner's lunge. Then we're going to walk both hands along the right side of the mat. So then we come into a wide-legged stance. Our toes are going to be pointing to the corners of the mat. So toes are pointing out toward the corners, heels are tucked in, about 45-degree angle. And then we're going to walk our hands over to our right foot, bringing our torso as close as we can over our right leg. Feeling that stretch there. And then we're going to take our right foot, bring the toes, pointing it toward the long edge of the mat, and we're going to come into a one-legged squat. So we're bent, our right leg is bent, our left leg is extended along the mat with our toes flexed up to the sky. And then we'll walk our hands back along the mat, bending our knees. We're going to bring our hands to our hips and then pivot our waist so we're standing up nice, straight, and strong to wide-legged stance. Then we're going to come into warrior two. So we're going to take our right foot, point it toward the top of the mat. Well, actually it'd be the bottom of the mat, the short edge of the mat. And then back foot comes in at a 45-degree angle. And then bend your front leg so that the knee is over the ankle. Back edge of your back foot's nice and snug into the mat. Your chest is open to the long side of the mat. And then we're going to raise our arms up to shoulder height. And gently turn our gaze to look at our right fingertips. Take a few deep breaths here. Feel this pose in your body. Feel the strength. Then lower your left arm down to your left thigh, raising your right hand up to the sky, keeping your gaze on your right fingertips for peaceful warrior. And then bringing your right forearm down to your right thigh, coming into extended side angle. We'll sweep our left hand all the way over so it's pointing to the short edge of the mat, creating a nice energy from the left toes on up to the left fingertips. And bring the left hand down to the mat, pivot on your back foot. We're going to bring our right foot back to join the left foot, coming into plank pose. Wrists are right below our shoulders. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked into the spine, elevating our hips. And then we slowly come down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the side. And bring your hands alongside of you with the palms facing up. And turn your head to one side and rest it on the mat. Or Shavasana, a prone version of Shavasana. And bring your hands right below your shoulders. Fingertips are on the mat. We'll come into a cobra. So gently lift your chin and your chest, gently pushing down, keeping your pelvis on the mat. Elbows are tucked to the side. And then back up to tabletop. And then tuck your toes under. We'll go back up into downward dog and pedal out here for a few moments. We're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow. So on the inhale, bring that knee to the elbow, pushing off with your left toes. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. Again, knee to elbow on the right side. And back to downward dog. And then this last one, we're going to bring our right foot between our hands. So inhale, lifting your right foot. Bring it between your hands, framing your foot with your hands. We're going to bring our left palm down to the mat, sweeping our right hand up to the sky for a runner's lunge with a twist. And bring your right hand back down. Bring our left knee down to the mat, left top of your foot down to the mat. And we'll walk our hands back toward our hips as we straighten out our front leg, and then flexing our toes, pointing them up to the sky, stretching out our hamstrings. And then walk our hands back. They're right at our foot, and sending our chin and chest up and out. And again, we're going to walk our hands back, straightening out our right leg, flexing our toes up to the sky, and then walk back. Extending our chest and chin up and out. And one last time, walking back, straightening out our leg, flexing our toes up to the sky, and walk back to our foot. Extending our chin and chest up and out. Then we're going to tuck our back toes under, coming back up into runner's lunge. Bring our hands to the left side of the foot and walk our hands along the long side of the mat, coming into wide-legged stance. Toes are pointing to the corners of the mat. Heels are tucked in at a 45-degree angle. And we'll continue that walking of our hands over to our left leg. See if we can get our torso over our left leg. And then take your left foot, pivot it so that the toes are pointing up toward the top or long side of the mat. And then we're going to come down into a one-legged squat. So the left leg is bent, right leg is nice and long, toes are pointing up to the sky. And then we'll walk our hands back to center, bending our knees, bringing our hands to our hips. We're going to pivot our torso so it's upright. Then we'll come into warrior two by turning our left foot to the short end of the mat, pivoting our back foot so it's at a 45-degree angle. Front knee comes over our ankle. Just kind of scooch your way into what's comfortable for you for warrior two. So you can get some distance, pushing down your feet, pushing out, feeling that energize, energy in your legs. Chest is facing the long side of the mat, and we'll sweep our arms up to shoulder height. And then gently turn our head to the left, look at our left fingertips. And bring our right hand down to our right thigh, lifting our left hand up toward the sky, keeping our gaze on our fingertips, coming into peaceful warrior. And then bring our left forearm down, resting it on our left thigh, sweeping the right hand all the way over like a rainbow, pointing toward the short end of the mat so that we create a nice line of energy between our toes and our fingertips. And then bringing our right hand down to the mat, pivoting on our back foot. We bring our left foot back to our right foot, coming into plank pose. Wrists are below our shoulders. Hands are spread wide apart. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked up to the spine, and we're going to slowly come down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping our elbows tucked to our side. Then bringing our arms alongside of us, palms facing up, and turn your head in the opposite direction than before. And just resting here for a few moments. And bring your fingertips below your shoulders, lifting your chin and chest up, gently pressing into your hands, come into cobra. And then coming up into tabletop, and then bring our hips down to our ankles and come into child's pose. And bringing your forehead to the mat, we're going to wrap our arms around the back of us. So our hands are alongside of our feet or behind our hips, basically coming into like the turtle, where it's withdrawn all its limbs and head. And just focus on your breath. See if you can have your breath override vision, even feeling the mat. If you just focus on your breath, a lot of the other senses just drop away into the background. We'll come up back into tabletop, crossing our legs behind us. We're going to move our hips over our legs and come into a seated position, extending our legs out straight, come into a staff position. You may want to bolster with your cushion or your towel, as I have, so that your Hips are a little bit higher up. And this is staff position. Toes are flexed up to the sky. We'll do a few head to knee. So we're going to bring our left leg up, our left foot, and rest it against the inner part of our right thigh. And then there's several ways you can approach this. You can walk your fingers down toward your foot, alongside of your leg, toward your foot. And as you inhale, you're going to lengthen, and as you exhale, you're going to lower. So lengthen and then lower. Inhale, lengthen and lower. Inhale, lengthen and lower. That's one version. Or you can bend your knee, have your hands along the back of your foot, and just see how far. It's hard because my heel gets caught in the mat, but see how far you can go to straighten out your leg, bringing your head down toward your knee. And the third way is sweeping your arms up overhead, then pivoting from the waist, bringing your head down toward your knee, grabbing a hold of your feet. Whichever way of those works well for you. And then we'll come back up. We'll do that on the other side. So extend your left leg, flexing your toes up to the sky. Right sole of your foot comes against the left thigh. Again, you can pick any of those methods. You can walk as you listen to your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, you're lengthening. Exhaling, you're lowering. Or bending your knee, and slide it out as far as what's comfortable for you. Or sweeping your arms up overhead, pivoting at the waist, lowering your head down toward your knee. We'll come back up and we'll extend both legs out. Both feet are flexed up to the sky. Again, choose whichever method works best for you, and we'll do that. Head to knee, pose, coming down. Really listening to your breath. And then coming back up. Remove your towel or your cushion, and we're going to roll down on our back. And you can roll down one vertebrae at a time with your knees bent or your legs straight, or you can reach underneath your knees and just do the express method of rolling back. Your knees to chest, we'll give them a nice hug. We'll rock back and forth, give our lower back a massage. And then we're going to draw some circles with our toes. So reaching up, making a nice big circle clockwise with our toes. Have that also massage our lower back. Nice big full moon coming up this week. And then counterclockwise. And then hug our knees to our chest again. Extend our arms out to our sides at shoulder height. We'll do a reclined twist. So exhale, drop your knees down to the right side of the mat. And then gently turn your head to the left. Look at your left fingertips. Inhale, gently roll your head back to center. And then inhaling, lift your legs back to center. And then exhale, lower your legs to the left side. And then gently turn your head to look at your right fingertips. And slowly bring your head back to center. Inhale, slowly lift your legs back to center. And then extend your legs down to the bottom of the mat. Prepare for Shavasana. The heels reaching to the corners of the mat, letting your feet just flop open. Arms are diagonally about 45 degrees away from your body, palms reaching up. Shoulders are relaxed. Your whole body is relaxed. Letting the nutrients of today's practice soak within you. Today's poem is by Robert Frost, titled My November Guest. My sorrow, when she's here with me, thinks of dark days of autumn rain. Are beautiful as days can be, she loves the bare, the withered tree. She walks the sodden pasture lane. Her pleasure will not let me stay. She talks and I am fain to list. She's glad the birds are gone away. She's glad her simple worsted gray is silver now with clinging mist. The desolate, deserted trees, the faded earth, the heavy sky, the beauties she so truly sees, she thinks I have no eye for these and vexes me for reason why. Not yesterday I learned to know the love of bare November days before the coming of the snow, but it were vain to tell her so, and they are better for her praise.